Hey everyone, welcome to this lunar eclipse Sidereal astrology forecast for the lunar eclipse on Friday, November 19th, 2021. All right, so we have the first eclipse of this eclipse season here in the winter time, and it will be in the constellation of Taurus the Bull, which is where we've had the North Node already transiting for over the past year now. So great to further develop this side of ourselves. Taurus the Bull is about cultivating our inner resources, inner strength, self-reliance, resourcefulness, and also the external resources of life as well. So maybe material life, material security, but also just nature, abundance that way. And fundamentally really being grateful for what we have, I think really helps us cultivate again those inner and outer resources, that inner and outer abundance that Taurus is all about. So lunar eclipse is very much like a full moon. It's a status check. It's a good time to see how this energy is going, how it has been going for the past 6 months or year or plus, and maybe make some shifts and changes to further develop this side of ourself. Doing a status check with that resourceful side. How's it going? What are some shifts and changes to further develop it? Especially new things we can do, which is the North Node, which is all about setting that more yang energy, intention, taking a leap of faith, learning, growing, challenging ourselves is a great way of working with it. So all in all, the aspects with the lunar eclipse are more on the easy side, I would say. We do have an opposition to Mercury, which is quite common, really just reminding us the importance of balance, especially with the Sun and Mercury and Libra. We do have a square up to Jupiter, so this is benefic, so usually on the easier side, but good to balance optimism, balance any inspirations we're feeling, good to ground that open-mindedness of Jupiter and free-spirited energy of Jupiter, and a trine up to deep Pluto. So feeling perhaps a bit empowered or like we have support to make some empowering changes to, again, further this life path with this eclipse. All right, so let's go and take a look at all of this here in more detail when we return. Alrighty, so here is the chart for the lunar eclipse. It will be at Friday, November 19th, 2021. And for all intents and purposes, around the Friday time period, will be in the morning time for those of you in the States, or in the Americas in general, and about midday for those of you in Europe, and so forth and so on. So if you do want to make that calculation, but for all intents and purposes, it will be in the days surrounding Friday. And as you can see here, we are using the actual size of the constellations, which is very different from mainstream astrology. It just so happens that the eclipse is also in Taurus and mainstream. But if you're expecting me to say that the sun's in Scorpio right now, or that Mercury's in Scorpio as well, definitely check out the link down below for more information. We are using the visible sky on this channel, which is very different from mainstream astrology, and it does change the signs. So definitely check that out if you are new to this. All right, so let's go ahead and break down first what is an eclipse. An eclipse is anytime we have a new or full moon next to the nodes. The nodes are the life path part of the chart. I like to think of them as the undercurrent to our life experiences, and how we can make some, in this case, shifts and changes, set some intentions to further develop this life path of ours. So I always recommend with the eclipse time to always check out our own north and south nodes in our own birth chart, because although this is happening collectively and likely different part of the sky than your birth chart, it's always a shift to our own unique life path. And so knowing our unique life path is always very important. At the bottom of this video on YouTube, I will put the link to the north and south node videos to see exactly what yours is and how to work with it. If you haven't yet already checked those out. If you're watching this on MTZ Insiders, you can click the video where it says YouTube on the video itself. That'll take you to YouTube, and then in the description section, you'll see the link to the videos there as well, which I recommend. But nonetheless, it is a shift to our life path. And in this case, what's getting illuminated here is the North Node. And the North Node is the future path, right? Where the South Node has more to do with past energy, past life, past karmic patterns, releasing things. It's more yin in its nature. At least it's good to approach it in a yin way, as it does have that receding energy and bringing things back into spiritual balance type of energy. Whereas the North Node is very much about where we're growing, right? And in its highest expression, it really is, you could say, our Dharma. They're really both our Dharma, but in this case, what are some of the intentions we can set to develop new energy in healthy and constructive ways. And in this sense, it is Taurus the Bull collectively. Now, we've already had the North Node here for about the past year, over a year with the North Node. They do move backwards in the sky, by the way, so it's approaching Aries. So it's been a lot of energy with this, but it's a nice step now in the right direction to further develop this Taurus the Bull energy. And so Taurus the Bull is all about the grounded side of ourself, the steady side of ourself, the resourceful side of ourself, and is very much representative of cultivating our inner and outer resources in life. So like I was saying in the intro, inner resources, right? Connecting with that inner resourcefulness, inner strength, self-reliance, right? Steadiness, groundedness, natural talents, natural abilities. Taurus is a great time to reconnect to those inner resources, those natural resources that we have to cultivate, our path. And so great to do that. Fundamentally, it is about those inner resources. Now, of course, Taurus can also be external resources. So it's a great time to do a status check with those as well. How is our material life, right? Now, this doesn't just mean money and resources, although, of course, Taurus does rule that. But it means fundamentally things that are derived from nature, right? Which really money is just a symbolic representation of goods and services and natural abundance. So fundamentally, it is about, right, connecting to the abundances of life. And so great time to see how is that material life going? How is our outer abundance in the sense that we're all, or all can be, connected to that, right? So it's a great time to simply maybe just go out and connect to nature, or spend time outdoors or in the garden. Taurus is very much about, again, the actual cultivating of the resources. So it's a great time for, anything that involves bringing that out of earth, right? Cultivating the earth in some way. But simply having a good meal, some aromatherapy, some luxury, some relaxation, some comfort. It's a very sensual sign as well. So again, connecting to the earth elements of life and the abundances, both inner and outer. It's a great way to further develop this. But again, really doing a status check with saying how is that part of our life going and what are some shifts and changes we can make to further develop it for really the remainder of the cycle, the next 6 months, but we could say even the whole year, right? The next 12 months because of the eclipse cycles. But yeah, good to do that status check with Taurus the Bull type of energy. Now, this is, of course, always important with any full moon lunar eclipse to balance it with the Scorpio energy or the opposite energy, in this case, Scorpio. So really staying connected, which is, again, the South Node, it's yin, so it's more about connecting. Staying connected, staying rooted in what really matters in life and in the deeper life. It's been a very deep, intense year. Plus, with the South Node here in Scorpio and Ophiuchus. And so, collectively, there has been those roots and that karmic energy being worked out about deep stuff and healing, health stuff and all this. So it's just while the South Node is finishing Scorpio, because the South Node will be leaving Scorpio going into the next month or two, going into Libra. But nonetheless, with this, just staying rooted in what really matters in life, right? Scorpio is about truth. It's about depth. It's about the real, raw elements of life and of ourselves. And that is what balances Taurus, right? Because what good is all these resources and natural abundance and all this if we aren't rooted into what really matters in life at the end of the day? Scorpio rules life and death. What really matters, deeper relationships as well. Taurus is a very self-reliant energy, especially this part of Taurus, which is very close to Aries. So Taurus can be very self-reliant, but Scorpio reminds us to stay connected in our deeper relationships, to have trust, intimacy, deeper connection, things like this. So maintaining that balance, I think, is great between the deeper values and the material values. Now, the Sun and Mercury are in Libra, and Mars is shifting into Libra during this eclipse. And this part of Taurus does oppose up to Libra. So again, very important for just balance in general, especially with the eclipse opposite up to Mercury here as well. So seeing that, of course, it is important to pursue, Taurus is a very self-oriented kind of energy, right? It is in the bottom left quadrant of the sky, which rules this. So just maintaining, again, that balance in, let's say, our relationships with Libra and Scorpio. So fairness, staying focused on what's fair, right, and just, All right, what's mutual, what's mutually beneficial, and just staying rooted in our relationships in general, right? I think is a great way of working with this, and just maintaining balance in our life. So we're not going too far. Taurus can be, it's not suggesting this in the full moon, but it can be very, directed, what's the word, stubborn, right? And pursuing those values. And so just maintaining that kind of detached balance, seeing both sides of the coin, having some harmony, right, can be a great way of working with this eclipse as well. So the other aspects with it is that it is squaring up to Jupiter, being a benefic. It does make it on the easier side. Normally squares are more challenging, and a square still requires some intention. In fact, to keep it grounded with Jupiter. So Jupiter represents inspirations, possibilities, hopefulness. And so that's likely quite strong collectively with this eclipse. So we want to make sure that those energies are grounded, right? Not being over-inspired, over-optimistic, right? Maybe over-indulgent, right? Sometimes with Jupiter-Taurus mixed kind of energy, right? Over-enjoying the material or, aspects of life. So recognizing that there is this great energy to be open-minded, to see opportunities, right? And to enjoy abundance, but in that way that we are still constructively working with it. Squares are very much like Saturn energy, so it's good to take the action. And so if an inspiration or something you're optimistic or hopeful about, great, but taking the action towards it is what grounds the square. It's what grounds the square to Jupiter. And in this way, it becomes very constructive. So it's an excellent lunar eclipse for action. It's a heightened energy of the lunar month. In this case, towards any inspirations or possibilities or things we're inspired about. It could be a great way of working with this, especially if it has anything to do with what you want to achieve, which is the Jupiter in Capricorn in true Sidereal, which is the achievement, the accomplishment, things like that, especially also with Saturn here as well. Now, there is a trine up to Pluto, which is nice, and so there's an empowering energy. Pluto does rule Scorpio, so it is that deeper energy, but in the trine, it usually comes across easier. And so we're likely feeling collectively a bit of support to empower ourselves, do things we normally wouldn't, that maybe normally we're afraid of. We can feel empowered to do so, so it can be very empowering to face fears, to transform, maybe make some changes. This is Pluto in Sagittarius, which is about perspective, Jupiter's sign. So transforming perspectives is supportive, as it has been, but now supportive with the trine. And so seeing that again, there's possibilities, potentials, and empowering ourselves to do those things or take those actions, or just feeling a bit, again, real, raw, and more connected to the deeper side of ourself and of life and our relationships. So nice support with Pluto, the ruler of the deeper underworld, if you will, with this eclipse. All right, so those are the main aspects with the eclipse. I do want to bring some attention to Venus, because Venus is the dispositor or the ruler of Taurus, and she's also over here in Sagittarius, and she's going to be trining up to Uranus during this eclipse as well. So again, supportive energy. I think it's great to be enjoying a bit of that expanding of our horizons really for the coming weeks, months even, with Venus here, but enjoying the expanding of our mental horizon. So it's a great eclipse for letting, again, the mind wander or expand a bit, abstract things like philosophy, spirituality, right? Things like this, more abstract right side of the brain, but even quite literal adventure as well. Maybe just, again, expanding those horizons. A bit of adventurousness can be very enjoyable. With all this energy in Libra, which is also ruled by Venus, enjoying that in relationships. A bit of the discussion of the higher things or expanding our horizons mentally or literally with our relationships can be great as well. So seeing the value of this expansive energy of Sag, and maybe enjoying some new and different things as well. New and different connections, new and different enjoyments, new and different values, maybe some exciting different things coming in regarding this resourceful or abundant energy with that Uranus trining up to the ruler of Taurus, Venus. All right, everyone, so that is the lunar eclipse in a nutshell. The most important thing is status check to the life path. It's going to be very important for the yearly energy, for making shifts and changes based on whatever insights we do get. Now, of course, even full moons, but eclipses, are very spiritual times, so it's very good to listen, I would say, around this Friday time, especially, during the eclipse, if you have the time to do that. Sit with the energy, see what comes in, what perspectives come in, and then from that, over the coming days, making some of those shifts and changes to further develop this Taurus energy, Taurus the Bull, that resourcefulness, steadiness, self-reliance, and even the external resources as well. All right, so everyone have a fantastic lunar eclipse. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click the like button if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're not yet signed up for MTZ Insiders, there's also a link down in the description for that. It's where you do get these videos released first before YouTube and other content not normally released on it. It's absolutely free. So if you're not yet signed up, do check that out. But have a great one, everyone. Thank you again for all of your support, and I'll see you all next time for the next astrology forecast. Take care.